Okay, so I wanted to welcome everyone to tonight's workshop. It's called Project Topic Selection and Research. And my name is Joanna. I work for First Canada in the Communications Department, and I'm super excited to introduce Team 578 Sharon Tiger Text, Team Orange. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Team 578 are known in the community for their outreach events, spreading STEM and robotics to area children who would otherwise not be able to experience it. 2 years ago, Team Orange was Southwest Pennsylvania's Champions Award recipient. The team then advanced to the World Festival in Detroit, where the team received the first place Inspiration Award. This season, Tiger Tech's Team Orange were the Champions Award runner-up in Southwestern Pennsylvania and were destined for the Carolina Open in Myrtle Beach until the pandemic hit. The team was also a Global Innovation Award semifinalist and was able to travel to San Jose, California for the event. So having said that, welcome everyone, and go ahead and start your presentation.
Hi, we are Tiger Tech's Team Orange from Sharon, Pennsylvania. I'm John, and the rest of the team is going to take a moment to introduce themselves before we get started.
Hi, I'm Caden.
Hi, I'm Danny. Hi, I'm Mary. Hi, I'm Cameron. Hi, I'm Matthew. Hi, I'm Caitlin.
We are so glad that you are with us today to hear about how to pick a project topic and conduct research. We hope today that teams are able to take away some tips that we have learned over the years to help pick a project topic and conduct research for the replay season. So something to know the challenge is FLL has provided you an engineering notebook, and on the back of this is a challenge story, which is on the screen, and you can read that while I'm reading that. So it says, all around us, there are opportunities to play and be active, from open parks to cement courts, in our classrooms and even when we're waiting in line, but more and more people are not active enough. So my asks, how and where can we help people be more active? Reward them, get them motivated. The park bench, on the bus. So how are we going to solve these challenges? Let's ask people we know. Playing makes being active more fun. You get creative when you want to play, and it's this creativity, your creativity, that can help motivate us to be more active. So some of the keywords that I saw was reward them. So try to think of something that they're interested in, and try to figure out a way that you can incorporate them that into them exercising. And maybe that could be a way to motivate them, which is another keyword I saw. So, and then another keyword I saw was how and where can we help people be active? So try to think about places where people aren't active enough, like they said on the bus, or maybe sitting at home on their couch, and try to figure out a way that you can get people to be active even when they're just sitting around. And then you want to ask people we know. And that is, you can ask people to help develop your project topic and to learn more about your topic. It is important to know where this presentation fits in with the entire scope of the project. On the left, the details located here were found online using the Access Thinkscape portal. The details outline the project requirements. Today, we are really only going to focus on the first section where the red box is outlining and the red arrow is highlighting on the right. The main goal for teams is to identify a specific problem linked to people not being active enough. So some things to keep in mind during the process is you want to research your problem and solution ideas. So maybe one of your teammates saw a problem that they saw on the news or on their phone or something that happened to them in real life. And then you want to try to come up with ideas to solve these problems. And you can use this, you can design this solution in a new piece of technology, or you can improve an existing one. So maybe there's a product that isn't working as well as it should, and you can try to think of a creative way to improve that. And then you want to share and pitch this idea with experts. So you want to share and pitch this to, like I said, help develop your product and learn more about your product throughout the season. So for another thing that you can do while brainstorming a project topic is look at things that interest the team and are related to the topic. So maybe one of your teammates are really interested in athletic concussions or something that has to do with people being active. And then you can find a way to solve that problem. Another way to find a project topic is looking at the FLL kickoff video that you saw at the beginning of this season. FLL put out this video. It has a bunch of hints in it with many like specific problems that are out in the world and maybe solutions that they hinted at in that video as well. And then another way that you can be inspired to make a project topic is by mission models. And we've done this a lot throughout the seasons, and this next slide will show those examples. So for brainstorm, our ideas, we took from hydrodynamics, and we took from this the fire truck mission, and we made a fire hose that it was had lights on it that would either glow red or green. And if the lights were green, that means everything was okay inside with the firefighters. No one was in trouble. Everyone was doing what they needed to do. But if a firefighter clicked a button and it turned red, the firefighters would be alerted to know that someone is in trouble and that they need help. Another inspiration we took from Into Orbit season was the astronaut. And we made a suit that would help move fluids throughout the body, because we learned that in space, all the fluids inside your body rush up to your head, which can cause many physical problems. And we made a compression suit that would push that liquid throughout your body, and that it would help get rid of those side effects and help astronauts feel better once they got back to Earth. And then for the City Shaper season, we took inspiration from the handicap swing, and we decided to make the Handy Parker. And this device would help handicapped people just find to park safely, and so that people would not steal their handicap placard. Because one thing that we found out while researching was that people were stealing handicap placards for free parking and to find easy spots that they didn't need because they were not handicapped. So we made a solution that it would have a monitor and it would have this fingerprint reader. So when the handicapped person put their thumbprint on the fingerprint reader, it would click the light and it would turn blue, indicating that they were allowed to park there. And this way, it will help people from not stealing it, because only their fingerprint can cause that to happen. And then another thing that can help you develop a project topic is this year we've made a project inspiration worksheet, and we made a guide for the mission model inspiration. So the directions are listed on the top of the page for guidance, and you can use this template to assist in better understanding the mission models and how they might provide inspiration for a project topic. Each mission model picture has been included on the left side. Complete the rest of the table by writing the model name and then answering the question in the columns that will direct teams to dig deeper with a possible project topic. We are going to do a sample mission model as a guide. This worksheet can be found on our website, www.tigertexrobotics.com, under our Learning tab or on FLL tutorials. So we've done one example here, and we did the slide mission, which is mission model 3. And the column asks, what is the common everyday purpose for this? And it said, and we answered, to get kids playing and moving on a playground. The next column says, who would use this equipment? We said slides are for kids of all ages, teenagers, and even use them as well. So you want to figure out what is your main audience that you want to help here. And then the next column says, what problems may result from this design? So one of the things that we thought of was kids' disabilities may have a problem getting on the slide. So this will help you come up with a problem for your solution. And then the next column says, how could this idea be redesigned? And some questions to think about for this is, how would kids with all abilities be able to use a slide? And could a piece of technology track movement on a slide to help them track their fitness throughout that? And then this next slide is just showing all the other worksheets that we have for each different mission model. And this will help you this can help you come up with ideas of your own with these mission models.
So when you're brainstorming a project topic, you might want to start with some questions that you want to consider. You should think of, like, are there any spaces in your community where people could be more active? Like any big open areas that aren't used very often, such as like a parking lot or a spot at a park? Can you think of ways to motivate people to be more active? Like ways to get people excited to become active? Think of there being a particular problem that is stopping people from being active in your community. such as traffic complications or living too far from a gym or park. And you should always remember that ideas may develop as a team conducts research on an already chosen topic, and you should always write them down just so you can have them just in case your topic doesn't work out. When you're picking a project topic, like last year in City Shaper, the challenge was to identify a problem with a public building or public space in your community. Our team came up with 3, which was handicap parking, public parks, abandoned buildings. And when you have 2 or 3 ideas like these, you have 2 options that you can use to start researching them. Option A would be to choose one of the topics and have your entire team research them, or split your team into 2 or 3 groups and have each group take a topic and start researching them to nail down which ones would be the best for your team. You should conduct research early so you can pick a topic as soon as possible. So at the start of the season, you should determine as a team which of the following research techniques would best suit your team. Conduct online research, talk to guest speakers, go on trips, connect with experts online, or send out surveys to your community. And these techniques can not only be used to pick a topic, but also further research an already chosen topic. When you're conducting online research, you should use keywords in your search. You should make sure to evaluate all the information you find, like trying to see all sides, everybody's opinion on the topic. Consider who published that information, whether the author has credentials and is an expert in that particular field. You could look at the domain extension, like .edu, .gov, and .org are all great ones, but anything with .com could possibly be trying to sell you something. And lastly, never use Wikipedia because it can be edited at any time by anybody.
So at the beginning of the year, to understand the project a little bit better, it's a good idea to start with your family or anybody in your community to ask for their guest speakers. We do this because we like to see what their input on the project this year is. And during the City Shaper season, we contacted a father who was a police officer and who was a relative to one of our team members. We also had an architect who was a person that works for our community. 2 possible ways that you could contact a guest speaker, which would be electronically, would be an email or a phone call. It's recommended to type an email template so you have a starting point to contact the guest speaker. Another option is to call your guest speaker directly and tell them exactly about what you're trying to say. And you can write notes to get the member through the phone call a little bit easier. And before a guest speaker comes in, you need to brainstorm what you're trying to get out of this guest speaker. So, for example, if you're just trying to get a general idea, or if you're just trying to get something specific out of them. It's important to have every team member have everything ready for them. So they have to have a notebook and a writing utensil. Questions should be brainstormed beforehand, so every person participates during the conversation with the guest speaker. It's also a good idea to have each team member have different questions, so throughout the presentation, they're allowed to get as much information as they can out of this guest speaker, and you don't waste time. During the presentation, make sure all team members take notes so everyone is able to remember all the information that they gathered, and also they can document. Team members should give full attention to the guest speaker, such as eye contact, sitting up straight and head up high interest, etc. Be thinking of more questions to help better understand your topic or solution. This prevents any silence in between you and the guest speaker speaking. Finally, make sure all team members participate. This not only helps with understanding the topic a little bit better, but also make sure that there's not one person carrying the team and asking all the questions. And make sure that you're taking photos during the presentation. This is a great way to document and to remember all the places that you've been or what you're doing.
So you want to use trips to better understand and gain knowledge about the topic that you're researching for this season and for future seasons. You also don't have to travel very far to find the research that you're looking for. You can also consider trips that are local or a short travel distance from where you're located. For example, during our in-orbit season, we visited museums, NASA facilities, and a software development firm. Although trips are a great form of research, during COVID-19, this may not be the most realistic option, so we recommend looking into virtual trips. Speaking of virtual trips, here are a few that we recommend checking out. So the first one I'm going to click on is this one right here. So it's the top 100 is the 100 best virtual trips and tours for students. So if you go down a little, it shows a table of contents that you can either show or decide not to show. So the first one that I'm going to look at is the Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay, Florida. So it gives a little overview of where it is and like about it. And if you click one of these, then it shows you the virtual thing. Okay, so next is the Discovery Education Field Trip. So I'm going to click that. So it's going to bring you to this screen and you can scroll down a little. If you want to check, you can change your subject area. So I'm going to click this, and since this season for robotics is sports, I'm going to click sports. So the first two that show up is the Play 60 Kids Day Live, and the other one that is Careers That Count, a virtual field trip with the NBA. Except I'm going to click this one. So the virtual trip is this right here, where you would normally just click the play button. And down here, it shows a quick overview of the virtual trip. So below the other two screens, below the two other links are 3 other virtual links that you can check out. Next, planning for a trip, you want to plan well in advance, so then you're not planning a week ahead of time, which can make everything very confusing. And one thing you really don't want during a season is a lot of confusion. So you want to research your facility ahead of time. The reason you want to research a facility ahead of time is so then you know what the facility can give you and your team this season. You don't want to waste your time and money at a facility that won't give your team enough research to build off of your topic with. You have to ask yourself, is it really going to help me and my team this season? A few things to consider when planning are tickets, costs, dates, transportation, and items to bring along. During a trip, you want to have questions prepared ahead of time. You want to have questions prepared ahead of time because you really don't want to waste your time coming up for questions for the speaker that you're talking to during the amount of time that you have with the speaker. It's a very limited amount of time you have with them, so you cannot waste your time with them. That's valuable time. So you want to be sure to take notes while on the trip. You want to take notes because so then later in the season you can look back and build off of what you learned during that trip. You want to take lots of photos to document it, so then you can show who you met and what you did during the trip. Most importantly, you want to have fun and enjoy the experience.
So after you have a guest speaker, or after you go on a trip, you want to be sure you have permission to recontact them so they can come in again. For example, we had one of our guest speakers, Melissa Phillips, back 3 to 4 times because she helped us. Next, you want to send a thank you email, text, card, group photo, note, whatever is best for you, and you want to let them know it's from the whole team, and you want to let them know we really appreciate them coming in, or we really appreciate going on the trip because we really do appreciate it. You want to have a notebook with you, and you want to review important information. If something stood out to you, you want to write it down so then you can look back on it and it can help you. You want to discuss or brainstorm what else the team needs to know, think where else you can go or who else you can have in. For a survey, a survey is used to discover the needs and interests of groups of people. Types of surveys can include Google Survey and SurveyMonkey. While you're developing the survey, you want to develop specific questions to get the information you want. So questions that are reasonable and relevant to what you're trying to get out of it. You want to choose how many questions to ask. So you want to keep a small amount or a reasonable amount, because usually people aren't going to want to take a very long survey. Each question should have a purpose for asking it, because you want something, you don't want a random question that's not going to help you. You want something that's relevant. You want to explain on the survey the purpose of it, maybe a paragraph at the top of the survey telling what it's about so people know what the questions are for. And you want to decide if the survey should be anonymous or need contact info. While you're administering the survey, you want to be sure to get a diverse group of people to take the survey. You really want all different ages to take the survey. You don't want just one age. You want everyone to take the survey so you can get as many answers as you can, so you can have all of the information you need. You want to decide which format's best for you or best to use. It could be paper, pencil, online, or verbal. You want to pick which one, and you want to have a due date so you can get all of your questions and all your surveys back at the same time.
Okay, so first, when you record your responses in a data chart for each question as a group. Then you want to identify the most common response as a group, and then you want to use the response to help guide your project throughout the season. Okay, when you're determining what communication tool is best for your team seeking, you can use email, phone call. You can set up a conference call with them, and you can use conference platforms such as Zoom and Discord.
So once you select your project topic and you initially research it, you don't want to stop researching because you're going to be judged based on how much research you have. So you want to make sure that you have enough throughout your season. You also want to continue using research options to strengthen your project to make sure your project has a strong enough foundation of resources and research to be built upon. You also want to follow the process provided by FIRST to make sure you're doing everything correctly according to FIRST. This process includes research your problem, designing a new piece of technology or improving upon an existing one, share your solution and collect feedback, and finally, pitch your solution at an event. You also want to know the rubric so you know what's changed, so you can know what to include in your project presentation and what you need to be doing throughout the season. Something important for veteran teams to know is that the rubric has changed drastically from previous years. For example, the robot rubric has become more streamlined and direct. So in each rubric, there are categories and guidelines on how to score well in each category. For example, the first category in the innovation project rubric is identify. You want to have a fully clear definition of the problem so the judges know exactly what you're trying to solve so they can gain a better understanding of your project. You also want to have a wide variety of resources so that you make sure you're getting all the information you need. The rest of the categories are design, create, iterate, and communicate. Something else very important for teams to know is that you have to create a prototype this year. This can be a fully working prototype, partially working prototype, or even a drawing of your prototype is perfectly acceptable to the judges. You don't want to miss out points just because you didn't read the rubric, so make sure you read it. So next we have useful resources. If you have useful resources that you think other teams might want to know about and that you can help them, please feel free to share it in the chat box. So the first resource is actually from FLL,
And this is 2 great pages of articles that you can help jumpstart your product season. So you can use this list of resources to help you gain a better understanding of a product, or even can help you understand your product better or create a new product based on one of these. So example number 2 is one of the articles that's actually from the FLL site that gives you the list. So this is UMass Amherst study finds benefit from pedal desks. So I think this article is really cool because it's all about these pedal desks that they use, and it's like inside space and you can do your work while you're there. I think that you can definitely improve upon this and definitely use that as your project. You can also use this for your research too. So the next one is FLLtutorials.com. And this is a bunch of project presentations and resources you can use to help you with your project if you're having any difficulty. So the first one is Steam City Challenge. The next one, the Tiger Techs have actually helped contribute to taking your project to the next level, which we will get to in a couple of seconds. If you want to know more about GIA, please feel free to check out this Global Innovation Award presentation. If you're actually having trouble with your presentations, please check out the research project presentations right here. There's also sharing your project, what makes a project innovative, doing background research, identifying a problem, which can be a very tricky part of the research project, so make sure you check that out. And if you want to know more about what we've been talking about today, Research Project Overview is a great one to check out. And then Research Project Timeline if you're not sure where you should be right now. So now we're going to look at the one that we have actually helped contribute to. And this is all about taking your project presentation to the next level, so from good to great. Not the Droids You Are Looking For and Lego Legion have also, all GIA teams have also helped contribute towards this. So this is just a bunch of tips and tricks on how to get your project presentation from good to great. So definitely check that out. All right, if you have any questions after today's presentation, please feel free to ask them now or stick around for a few minutes and put them in the chat box. You can also check out our website at tigertechsrobotics.com or visit us at one of our many social media sites. Thank you so much for listening to a project presentation today. And at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us.
So when you're making your decisions, how do you sort of vote on things, or how do you come up with a final selection? Is it all based on the survey results, or do you get together as a team, or how do you kind of decide in the end what project you're going to finally do?
So sometimes we vote, and when we vote, once we vote, we come together and we just decide if that's actually what we need. And then, of course, it's a vote. So after the vote, we decide if the one that was voted most, if that's right, if that's the one that we want to choose.
Okay, thank you. Well, I wanted to thank you all very, very much for coming. It was an excellent presentation. I had questions going throughout the whole thing, and you answered all of them as you were going through your presentation. So I think that you really covered everything. And I see also if people want to have access to the presentation, can they get that on your website, did you say?
Yes, you can get access on our website if you want to ever look at this again.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, great job, everyone.